We are starting week 2 of my new plan. Starting yesterday, I did some overhead pressing, some upper body work. Today is lower body day, so it's some deadlifts is the main compound movement from today. I'm going to start off with some banded good mornings, then move into deadlifts, into front squats, and then sort of progress on from there. It's mainly lower body, but obviously with strongman training there is a bit of crossover. Every day's almost a full body day, but obviously the focus is on something. So just a quick little breakdown of sort of how I'm setting out my training. Obviously I'll put it all up over on the side for everyone to see what I'm doing, but I do like a blended method where I do upper, lower, and then an event day. Now the upper session would be obviously a focus on pressing with some back stuff in there. Now as I'm doing strongman training again, obviously the main focus is on your overhead press. There will be some chest movements in there, but the main focus, the sort of primary movement in every session for me would be an overhead press of some sort. Now if I was doing it not from a strongman perspective and I was just doing it to like get stronger, more of a sort of power building model, I would probably do, so my upper body sessions would be shoulder focus, chest afterwards, and the other one would be chest first, shoulder after. Always have the compound movement as the first the first primary exercise. I always do a dynamic effort exercise first, so that would be a lower body dynamic exercise. Like today it's banded good mornings, but it might be kettlebell swings, box jumps, broad jumps. In the upper body sessions, the dynamic effort movement would be some sort of press, but around about sort of somewhere between 30 and 60% of max. The reason being is sort of like a power movement first. So I do that, one, as a good warm-up, but also two, to get everything firing sort of as explosively as possible. So banded good mornings first today, which obviously leads well into deadlifts. So going back to sort of what I was talking about, so the lower body sessions would be a deadlift focus or some sort of deadlift first as the primary one, and on the other lower body it would be a squat focus. Now what I tend to do is I go deadlift with a front squat, and then I go back squat with some form of deadlift, either an RDL or a trap bar deadlift or a rack pull. That tends to be what I do. So the reason being is I like to get frequency up. Doing things multiple times a week will enable you to progress faster. I wouldn't recommend deadlifting heavy twice a week, but you can do a heavy deadlift session and then another variation of a deadlift on your other session. So like I said, I use RDLs a lot. I think they're a great tool, very underutilized tool. And then for the squat movement, obviously I wouldn't recommend squatting heavy twice a week, but you can do a squat and then another squat variation, which again, another exercise which I think is very underutilized for strongmen is a front squat. So deadlift and squat, we all know, are very important. But then if you then add in a front squat on your deadlift day and an RDL on your squat day, you're then getting more frequency on those types of movements. You get 2 hinge movements and 2 quad-based movements, essentially, 2 squatting movements. That way, obviously, you get extra frequency, but on top of that, you're still getting the variations, which are great for making improvements in strongman. So RDLs are a very underutilized tool for strongmen, and front squats, in my opinion, as well. Front squats help with any sort of pickup, like a front carry, stones, loading, things like that. The RDLs obviously are great for building some strong posterior chain, strong glutes, strong hamstrings, which is going to benefit you on so many strongman exercises. So even if I wasn't training for strongman and I was just training to get stronger and get in better shape, I would still keep that same process of a heavy squat with some form of hinge movement, like an RDL, rack pull, trap bar deadlift, even potentially a good morning as well. And then on the other one, the deadlift session would be a deadlift and then some form of squat afterwards. Now, a front squat is a great tool for strongman, but if you're doing it sort of from the hypertrophy standpoint, you're trying to build muscle, something like a hack squat or a leg press would work as well. So that's the way I set it out. Like I said, I'm doing 2 heavy overheads per week, but if you were doing it just to get in shape, I would perhaps go heavy overhead on one, heavy bench press on the other, And then obviously on the overhead session, I would have some form of chest press movement, whether that be a machine, an incline bench, something similar. And then obviously on the chest focus workout, I would have some sort of shoulder press, whether that be dumbbells or Smith machine shoulder press or whatever. So you're always hitting everything twice a week. And then obviously you've got your full body day, which is your event day. But you know, if you're training just to get in shape and you're not sort of looking to compete in anything, I honestly think that 4 sessions a week is enough, especially if you split your training up on this. Anyway, I've waffled on enough. I'm going to do a whole video about how I program, why I program the way I do, and how I would set things out for different goals, keeping that same structure. So whether it be power building, strongman, or you're just looking to get stronger as an athlete, I would still set the basis of the program out the same. So I'll do a whole nother video about that at a later date. Today's deadlift day. The plan is 80% sets of 4 to 5. For me at the moment, what I've based the program on, that's me at 305 kilos for 3 sets of 4 to 5 reps. So that's how it's going to go. And then obviously I'll move into front squats, and so on and so forth. You might have noticed, even though that was sped up, the way I do it is slight bend in the knees, I'm pushing my butt back, and then you're going to basically come down nice and slow until you get the stretch. You feel the stretch through your hamstrings and your glutes, so you're essentially trying to load your glutes. Now this is something that is a great thing to learn when you're doing deadlifts. So in that setup, when you're doing a setup with your deadlifts, you're essentially trying to grab the bar and then you're trying to load your hamstrings and your glutes. And that's going to be, like, once everything's fully loaded, that's the start position. I actually had a good question from Rob Frampton. I put it on Instagram, things he wanted to cover. When you're starting out, it's like learning about that, as Rob called it, a clutch position, where essentially you're at that biting point, like when you're driving a car. So you're like squeezing your butt down, and you'll get to a point where you feel like your hamstrings and your glutes are really loaded. That's the point when you then engage the sort of upper back to, I always say, squeeze a tennis ball under your armpits. So you're sort of like trying to do that, squeeze that tennis ball. Once your hamstrings and your glutes are loaded, then load your upper back, and that's the point when you're going to fire up off the floor. So everything should be primed and ready to load. Now with the banded good mornings I've just done, I'm essentially putting myself in that position where I'm loading my hamstrings and my glutes and then firing up as quickly as possible. And that is essentially going to prep me and prime me for my deadlift. I'll then start doing the same process as I'm warming up through the weights on my deadlift. Start with empty bar, then move into 60 kilos, gradually just work my way up. Because I'm going up to 305, sometimes I work up in 50 kilo jumps, but today, because I'm going to 305, it makes sense to do work up in plates, 7 plates of slide, plus a 2.5 on each end when I get up to my working set. So it just makes the jumps nice and easy. I'll do a warm-up set with the empty bar, then 60 kilos, 100 kilos, 140, 180, 220, 260, 300, and then I'll chuck 305 on and do my my working sets. Now I probably will pull the 300 just for a single, just so that I know that when I go into those working sets, I am totally primed and ready to go. So I can give everything into that. Something that's quite important, obviously, is focus on what your priorities are. Like for me, this workout, my priority is to make sure that my deadlift is performing at 100%. So dynamic exercise I've done is in preparation for that. I'm then going to prime myself on all my warm-up sets and my feeler sets, as I like to call them, where you're just feeling the weight as you're working up. Even once you're warm, just gradually step the weights up, so that when you get into those working sets, you can give it everything. Because this is the most important exercise in today's workout. The deadlift, the front squats, if I'm down a little bit on power on that from one week to the next, it's not the end of the world. So long as I push hard every week, and it's sort of not getting noticeably weaker. If I'm having an off day, or I've put in extra effort on the deadlift and my front squat's down a tiny bit, not the end of the world. So yeah, this is the primary focus, and then everything else is just accessories and sort of movements that are going to help me progress this and other things moving forward. Just want to give a big shout out to Marcus from Team Affinity as well, because he's sent me some bridges through. I know some competitions are a bit funny about you using it now, but as a training tool, and obviously if the comp allows it, it is very good. Also sent me through some smelling salts as well. They're decent, really strong, give you a nice good kick. So if you're going for one of those big lifts where you need a bit of a pick-me-up, I'd highly recommend that. He also sent me through some of the tacky, which I've not actually used yet. I will do a little mini review on that when I get the chance, but the smelling salts and the grip is very good. Okay, so I'm putting the straps on now. I wouldn't normally put them on this early, but I've been training my grip really hard. I've been doing a lot of like fat grip stuff, things like that. Again, there's reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm not ready to sort of say that just yet. Just been literally using cable crossover. As crazy as that sounds, the stack here goes up to 120 kilos. It only goes through one sort of thing, so it's not like it's going through multiple pulleys, so the weight's pretty genuine. I've just been doing like 3 sets of max time holds with fat grips, and obviously rotating handles as well, which makes it harder. If you're training for like a Hercules hold, generally the handles are fixed. So straight away, if you put a rotating handle, it's harder. So you could train it that way. If the cable crossover you've got available is wide enough that you can do it, you could train your Hercules hold like that. It's a way that you could just train it. It might look a bit ridiculous just standing in a cable crossover with your arms out like a Hercules hold, but it does work, trust me. And also, if you do find it's too light, there's a lot of like information out there, and if you actually look into it, they're doing timed holds with a lighter weight, but just for a longer period of time, so you're still going like near to failure. It actually just has as much benefit as going heavy and doing short amounts of time, because it's like all about tendon strength and building up that tendon strength when it comes to grip stuff. Doing longer periods of time with a slightly lighter weight actually is just as beneficial for your ability to hold on to things as long as possible. As long as you've got that actual power to grip the weight in the first place, going slightly lighter and doing a longer period of time is going to be just as beneficial. So something you can do in a normal gym, train a Hercules hold. I already feel like I'm pretty warm, even though I've not done that many sets. I've banded good mornings and stuff like that, so the warmth in my body is there. So now it's like feeler sets, so I drop the reps right down and just gradually step up, and it's more just to feel the weight as I'm moving up, so it's not a big shock by chucking 100 kilos on it. But I'm probably warm enough to do my working sets now, in all honesty, but I like to feel the weight as I'm moving up. If you're following a program on my app, I only ever write down the working sets. I don't write down the warm-up sets. So kind of, you have to use your own sort of brain and things like that when you're doing it. I can give you a rough idea of what warm-up sets should be, but temperature of the room, things like that, they all play a factor. Everyone's different as well. Some people need a lot of warm-up sets, some people don't need many, and I think it's just a case of starting to understand that about yourself as an individual. I don't like to do a lot of warm-up lifts in terms of like lots and lots of volume, but I like to gradually step the weight up, so I like to do a lot of sets. Easy. So Penilla's just like experimenting with her training a little bit at the moment. She's doing a little bit of sort of CrossFit-y type stuff. When I say CrossFit, it's just basically like doing some heavy compounds and then some circuit training afterwards. I don't actually think it's a terrible way for strongmen to train. So like doing a heavy compound with giant sets afterwards, I think it's actually a good way to do it, because you're getting the conditioning from the giant sets and obviously the hypertrophy from the giant sets. But then on top of that, you're getting the heavy work from the compound movement. So I actually think that she's sort of experimenting with a kind of like strongman, CrossFit, hybrid sort of way of training. And yeah, just trying something new, seeing how she gets on with it. But yeah, she's doing a bit of log pressing today, and it's only the second time she's ever done it. She just did 40 kilos, no problem. I'm convinced she can do at least 50, having never really done it before. But she's not so sure, so we shall see. So 45 kilos now. Let's go. Pull it in, big hips. Easy, legs and press. Nice, easy, easy. She's definitely got 50 kilos there, that's 45. Let's go, and again. Nice, easy work. You ready? 50 kilos. Like I said, this is literally the second time she's ever done log press. And she just did 35 just to see if she could the other week. So, here we go, 50 kilos. Let's go. You got this. Big effort on the clean. Make the clean as powerful as possible. Good, better. Good, there you go. Good work. So when you're making your strongman debut, strong woman. Hey? When's the strong woman debut?
Strong woman?
Yeah. Never? No. Last set that was. I had to do 310 instead of 305, just because a lot of the 2.5s are being used, so not too bad. Hips feel a little bit tight. I don't know if that's still from the flights from Vegas and Ireland last week. Still strong enough though. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. That was the last set, so 5 kilos above what I was supposed to be doing as well. All done in the rep range that I wanted. So yeah, I'm happy. It's all good. So I've seen for years, like my good friend Graham Hicks using a safety bar for front squats. I've never done it myself, so thought I'd give it a try. Something a little bit different. Feels a little bit alien, but it is saving my shoulder a little bit. So you know, although it feels a bit weird, I think it's something that could benefit me moving forwards in terms of protecting my dodgy shoulder. So yeah, anyway, we're going to do it up to 182 because the bar weight's 22. Plus I've got the little collars on there, but they're like half a kilo, but we won't count that. So yeah, 182. pushes. Didn't bother filming it because it's kind of boring to watch. Not really a lot I can talk about it technically either. Yeah, just pushing a sled as fast as I could. 3 sets. I literally just went down. So it's about, I think it's around about sort of 15, 18 metres this runway. So yeah, it's just there, spin it round, rest, push it back, spin it round, rest, go again. Like I said, it's pretty boring. I didn't go particularly heavy. So as I start to push the weights up a little bit on that, I could probably talk about in the future how to utilise doing sled pushes, sled drags, sled pulls with a harness to benefit you in terms of truck pulls. There is some little technical things you can do on that that would help you in a truck pull. So I can talk about that in the future. But obviously at the moment it's more just conditioning my body to doing this, so I'm not going heavy. Anyway, right, next up is sandbag. It's meant to be sandbag pickups. So they're basically just a pick up to the chest, put it back down. For the sandbag here, I've got a new one on order. The sandbag here is split. So I'm going to just do the same with a keg instead. It's about 100 kilo keg, between 90 and 100. So I'll just do 3 sets of 8 on that, get the lungs going a little bit, and like I said, trying to get practiced on the movement and getting more efficient at the movement. So much of being strong is about your brain, and that's not, I'm not talking about being focused and all that side of things. I'm talking about the neural side of being strong. It's not just about your muscles. Hence why you can get these people that are very, not particularly muscular, they're very strong. Their body is very good at sort of transmitting signals from the brain to the muscle and getting them to fire at the right times and at the maximum capacity of what they're capable of, or a much higher capacity of what they're capable of than someone who's not as strong. So that being said, another video I plan on making in the future, I've been experimenting a little bit. I'm doing a lot of research into nootropics in terms of improving your brain function as a pre-workout. I know a lot of pre-workouts, they start to do these nootropic things. So I've kind of been doing a bit of research. I'm experimenting with, and I'm not telling you to do it, so please don't follow my advice because it's not a good idea to self-medicate things, but I've basically been experimenting with doing modafinil, which is a smart drug essentially. A lot of students use it for study and things like that, but I've been experimenting with and doing a lot of research into using it as a pre-workout, just because I want to understand it better. I know some people have been doing it a while, but I wanted to understand it better myself. And I can genuinely feel a difference. It's basically, if my brain function is better, it's then going to send the signals better, and it's also going to enable my brain to tell the muscles to fire better in a faster time, so I can give a lot faster output from the muscle, sort of more effectively, so that output will be more extreme at a much faster rate. So it should increase power and strength a hell of a lot. But so far, it's been a good thing to do, and I can notice the difference between doing it and not doing it. So, and that's not a placebo effect, because I don't think that anything works. So this was my view while I was doing the keg loads. Not really a surprise I lost count, is it? It's kind of distracting. So I'm just heading over to Pernilla. She looks like she's finished. She's been doing some abs. So I'm thinking I might try and take this opportunity to get her to have a bit of a competition on planks with me, because if I'm going to beat her on something like that, I'm going to have to do it when she's tired. So I'm thinking now might be a good opportunity. Baby, do you want to do a plank competition with me?
No, I'm just doing it.
Yeah, but you're much fitter and stronger than me.
That's not fair.
Well, yeah, but
You can't ask me after.
I won't rub it in if I beat her.
Huh?
I won't rub it in if I beat her. Do you think you can beat me?
Yeah.
What, even now?
No, that's why I don't do it.
It's almost making it a fair competition. It's only one set. Come on.
No, I've done 2 sets here and 2 sets
You've got to do it with me now. It's on video. It's on video on YouTube. People are going to see that you're, you know. She bottled it. She's saying it's not fair. Although I am, how many? 90 kilos heavier than her.
So what?
And 13 years older.
You haven't just done your abs.
And I'm broken. She's making excuses right next to me. We'll do that in a video in the future. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to get my set of planks done. And then I'm done. As long as I can. I mean, I think of my weight, 162 kilos.
62?
Yeah, I'm quite fat, as you know. Oh my God, that was painful. So I did 2 minutes one. I don't think that's too bad for my weight, is it? There you go. Oh my God, I've got cramp. Session done. I've got the worst cramp in my abs now. Decent session, strength's going up, feeling good. And yeah, anyone that wants me to make a video about something, I'm already planning the nootropics that I talked about, how to set out your training, how to sort of program your week. Those are in the pipeline. Anyone wants anything else, please let me know in the comments. I'm just about to go and try and sort this cramp out. Catch you later.